Okay, the simple technical side of this sucks. You've Skyped, you've done stuff on video, you know that the camera's over there, but you're over here, so what am I supposed to look at? Forgive me. We'll deal with it. The first substantial topic of our semester is death. I ask in class a simple question: how many of you think about death? Now, there's a common wisdom that goes with people my age that says we think about death because we're close to it. You don't think about death because it's so far away, but you and I both know that the common wisdom on this one is wrong. How many of you have lost a family member? How many of you have lost a friend at school? How many people have known someone that maybe wasn't even your friend, but you knew who they were and they died? Most of us. Death is a part of our lives. Now, I bring it up as a part of Hinduism because Hinduism, they got that cool cremation thing going, and they have the death and rebirth and life and death and rebirth and life. It sounds like they're dealing with death, right? But so's everybody else. All the Buddhists, all the Hindus, all the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, the atheists, anybody is wrestling with the problem of death because none of us have a really solid evidence proof of what happens. So it bugs us. So I bring it up here, but we could have brought it up at any point in the semester. Let's talk about it. Do you think about death? Well, of course you do. You ever go to a funeral? And at funerals, people always seem to have the right thing to say, or at least they think they do, right? They walk up to you and say, "Oh, he was a good man." As if your biggest worry was, did Grandpa have a ticket into the life after? Well, oh, thanks, Joe. Now that you told me he was a good man, I can relax, right? Or, I know what you're going through. Really? You've lost a 4-year-old too? No, my dog died. Now, people say stuff at funerals that's just bogus. And this one is the one that bugs me the most. It was his time to go. Well, maybe if Grandpa was 96 years old, you can get away with that one. All right, it's his time to go. He was on overtime, maybe. But when the person who dies is a little 5-year-old Scotty Marola, who had leukemia, and somebody walks up to the family and says, it must have been his time to go. That's BS. It isn't the right time for a 5-year-old to go, is it? And if it is, now I got to think about this. This is like that movie that's got the thing on your, well, I guess it's right here, right? You see how much time you got left? Everybody's got a certain amount of time. So on April 17, 2023 at 7:15 a.m., you're out of here. Let's think about that. Do we have a time to go? Are we all time-stamped by the great beyond? So as we enter into this life, my life is meant to be exactly, 72 years, 5 months, 17 days, 4 hours, and 21 minutes. Whereas Uncle Davy, he was only scheduled for 47 years, 6 months, 5 days, 13 hours, and 7 minutes. I don't think that works, because if it does, if we really buy that idea, then why do you go to the doctor? You're sick, so you go to the doctor. You say, "Doctor, I'm sick." And the doctor says, "I got a pill that'll make it go away. Thank God you came. You could have died." You go, "Oh, yeah, good, good." Well, wait a minute. If you didn't go to the doctor and you didn't take the pill and it wasn't your time to go, you're not going to die anyway, right? Oh, or better yet, you go to the doctor, he gives you the pill, you take it, and you die anyway. Apparently, you can't undo that time to go thing, can you? Some people say you can. Some people say, well, it's time to go, but you were in control of it. But then that doesn't make any sense, because I got to tell you, the yogurt in my refrigerator's got a timestamp on it. And it really doesn't matter whether I put it in the front of the refrigerator or the back of the refrigerator. I'm not eating it. If it's your time to go, then why do we get mad at serial killers? They come in and boom, 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 boom. Some masked gunman comes in, and this is sad that I'm recording this today because of what just happened at the Navy Yard yesterday, and God forbid this kind of thing happens. But it does. And we get all worked up because how dare he, how dare they, how dare she? When in reality, it was just their time to go, right? No, we don't buy that. We think that we have some control over the situation. So that's why we go and we get our polio vaccines when we're small. We get our MMR vaccines, which do not cause autism. People who say that now are suffering an outbreak of measles and mumps that is killing their kids. But we get them because we know if we do this, We won't die of that disease. You know, just recently, there was an announcement that there's a new vaccine for malaria. This is an incredible breakthrough since thousands of children die every day of malaria. And now they're talking about they think they might have found a vaccine for HIV. Thank God. But if it was just your time to go, we don't need those doctors working so hard on that research stuff to find vaccines because they don't apply, right? Wait a minute. You go and you get your vaccine and you admit by doing that that you're in control of your time to go to some extent or another. Now, granted, Final Destination, you might escape from one kind and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something else kills you. I'll tell you what. I've got, you see my look. You know who I look like. Everybody knows who I look like. I just need the hat, right? And I'm into the whole pharmaceutical chemistry thing, except in my RV that's parked out in the desert out there, I'm not working on cooking meth. Instead, I've been working on a new pharmaceutical for the world, and I've come up with LifeXtend, with an X. LifeXtend. And if you take my pill, which has now cleared the FDA, it guarantees that you get no diseases. It's just a super cool vaccine. For 25 years, it guarantees that you won't get measles, mumps, rubella. You won't get polio. You won't get a common cold. You won't get the flu. You won't get cancer. You won't get any disease for 25 years. Want it? Let me see a show of hands. Most people go, yeah, okay. Now remember, I can't stop a drive-by shooting at McDonald's. And if you want to go run in front of one of those big, steamroller things, your choice. This has nothing to do with that. It's only a disease thing, right? It's funny, about 60% of the class says, yeah, I'll do that. And I'm wondering, why won't the other 40%? You take measles, mumps, rubella, you take polio, you get your, HPV vaccine, but you won't take the one that does the rest of the diseases? Why not? You afraid of being too old? Most of you are 21, 22, 20. Add 25 to that. What do you got? 45. My God, you're old. Nah, I think you probably take it. So, I'm going back to my RV, and I keep working out there. And I've come up with LifeXtend 2. It does 50 years. No diseases for 50 years. Remember, I can't control everything else. When I say, would you want this? Amazingly, in class, only about 20-25% of the people say yes. I'm thinking, why not? You want to get a disease at the age of 60? And they go, well, it's just not natural. Well, I'll give you one. Finally, somebody gave me a good reason and says, getting those diseases actually does something for you. It's not just about creating antibodies and all that kind of stuff. It creates a personality. It creates a character. You learn to suffer. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like that. But if that's what it's all about, then why am I ducking the measles, mumps, and rubella thing? I'm out there working on my RV, and I came up with a new one. Only I'm calling it LX3. My market, I'm working on this. LX3. And this one gives you 100 years. 100 disease-free years. And people are going, well, that sucks. You know what I'm going to look like when I'm 100? Look at me. What if I took it now? I'd be 155 years old. I look like this, dried up little shriveled whatever. I say, no. Improving a product is more than just extending the length. We came up with a way to turn off the aging mechanism. So that what you look like today when you take the pill is what you're going to look like then. You got some wrinkles now, you'll have some wrinkles then. But if you got no wrinkles now, and if everything is nice and tight all over your body, that's you. You want to keep your hair? You got hair now? Take the pill. 100 years from now, you got a full head of hair. For me, it's a little late. Interestingly enough, only 2 people raised their hand on average in class for this one. And I go, well, why not? And they say, well, you're going to live out your relatives, your loved ones. You'll get to 120 and they're all dead at 70, 80. That's a lonely stretch. I go, why don't you just buy another pill? Give each one of them another pill. You only have to take it once. It's pretty good deal. One time in the morning, and it lasts for 100 years. So take the pill. Give it to them too. People go, I don't know, I get bored. I go, bored? You'd get bored? And they say, yeah, you run out of things to do. And I say, there's a lot of musical instruments out there. I've worked some on the guitar. I need to work a lot more. I'm going to need a few years of some carefree time to do this. Right now, I don't have time to be able to work on the guitar. And when I'm done with the guitar, I want to do the piano thing. And you know what I've always wanted to do? I wanted to play the harp. The Celtic harp, because I'm Irish. But, you know, flutes, I got the saxophone, I got the oboe. I love the oboe. I could keep this up forever, it seems to me, just on music levels. And languages? Holy crap. Okay, I got Spanish and I got English. Pretty good, both those. I can teach biblical Hebrew, but I barely scratched the surface on Arabic. I want Arabic. Help me learn. I need time. And then Mandarin. And then Hindi. And then, oh my gosh, there's so many small little languages that nobody knows. I want to know them all. There are thousands, 5,000 languages out there. And you think you're going to get bored? And think of all the girls you could date. My gosh. And 100 years sounds like too short a time. So I've been out there in the RV working a little longer, and I came up with a new one. Check this out. LX Forever. Like that? Pretty cool name, huh? LX Forever. Yeah, just what it says. Never a disease. Well, it's just not natural. Why isn't it natural? And they say, well, death is a good thing. Like, there's a monster slayer story in Navajo tradition where he comes across death. He's killing all the monsters that are hurting people. He comes across death and he's about to do it, and death says, no, thought about this? Because if you kill me, you take away people's motivation. I'm the thing that hangs over their heads and reminds them you only have so much time to work with. Monster Slayer was convinced. Death stayed. But wait a minute. There's another hero. In Christianity, Jesus. He didn't like death. At least not according to St. Paul. When Paul writes in the New Testament, he says, the last enemy to be destroyed is death. Enemy is enemy. It's not good. And if Jesus doesn't like death, I don't like death. If Jesus wants to kill death, I say kill death. So I'm popping those pills in my mouth trying to kill death. It's amazing all the medical breakthroughs we got. Really, seriously, they're about to do genetic engineering to be able to turn off the aging gene. They may be able to make my hair grow back. They think they found that gene. And as we go through this, they can replace the parts. Maybe we can live for a really, really, really long time. And we think it's not natural. But I'm thinking that if you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, the goal is to live forever. You say, well, I want to live forever in a better place. A place that's not so mucked up as this one is. I mean, look out there. I say, well, why don't you just clean up your house? If you know you got to live in a place for a long time, wouldn't you work to clean it up? Wouldn't it motivate you to do what you needed to do to fix the problems we've created? That might be a pretty good motivator. So rather than death motivating you to get around to it, maybe having to live in the mess would motivate you to get around to it. LifeXtend forever. If you're going to follow a religious tradition that says you can live forever, then you can't be opposed to living forever. Take my pill. I need the money.